please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Hello everyone, hope you're all well. Happy Thanksgiving to the Americans, unless you're watching this after that day, in which case, good luck on your Black Friday. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about Desmond Is Amazing. Well, yeah, we have to tie into some tweets from Pod Awful. Fun fact, on the 22nd this week at Twitter, I was blocked by Desmond Is Amazing. A friend of mine, long gone from the platform with YouTube, had issues with Desmond Is Amazing, actually, because they're American. Now, it's not Desmond many people took issue with, just to be clear, because back when Desmond rose to fame, when they were like a child, which they still are to an extent, to be honest, they're, 16, 17 now? They couldn't actually have the very platforms they had, but there were no age verification processes when they rose to fame. As a child drag performer, they started performing at the age of 8 years old, and the internet did not approve of this. Accusations the parents were, well, bad, Groomer, came up quite a fair bit. It didn't look good. It didn't look good when dressed as, cosplaying even, as Gwen Stefani, going to what looked like a strip club and collecting tips from people watching them do a dance routine. They were a kid. Yet this crap was allowed to go. Now, over the years, they have grown up. Of course they have. But many believe that what they are now is a direct consequence of their parents being bad parents. Not interested in the slightest, to be honest. I am interested in the parents, though, because they were the ones helping run the social media platforms. Desmond has an Instagram, a YouTube, a TikTok, a Twitter. I can see the tweets now. Still blocked, but, I can still see the tweets. I assume the reason that it never went beyond block to lawsuit is because I'm English. Good luck. On Instagram, they're not that popular anymore. Although popular is subjective, what I mean is the engagement has fallen off significantly. They are less seen as a drag performer and more as a teenager going through a whole plethora of changes. Again, why I don't want to really, and I never would want to make videos talking about Desmond, because even though they are quite happy who they are, I, being much older, consider them a poorly thought out experiment from parents who really desperately wanted to tick every major box and use them to garner attention and relevancy. And I, like you lovely people watching, all two of you, because Thanksgiving, will understand surely that if there's a difference of opinion, that's quite alright. But I remember Desmond from back then. I must have done a video or two calling out the behaviours, but my ire was never towards Desmond. It was towards those that enabled this. And the buck at that time ultimately stopped with the parents. So we could go through the Instagram posts of them looking a bit more like, Dylan Mulvaney these days. We could go through the YouTube where they haven't been active in over a year. We could go to the TikTok, which has also not been active in over a year. Or the Twitter, where they are the most active. But their Twitter is more dead than mine. So ultimately there's no point. Does that make sense? If I did a Where Are They Now, it would simply be, they are in New York being a teenager. How's that? Seems fair, right? It must suck for anyone that rose to fame or notoriety as a child. It must suck to know that the relevancy never stayed because your parents realised they wrote a check using you and you had to ride the purchase with the receipt, and then when that wave had passed, there was nothing left to pick up. That must suck. Truly. If you don't know who, just for the sake of it, who Desmond is, with all the information I've already said, I will link stuff down below if you'd like, but I'm going to be a bit Spartan on purpose because I think there's a real, I don't ever want to be accused of punching down or attacking a child, right? And Desmond is still a child, okay? Someone might now falsely equate that to other people in different circumstances. You can do that, I don't care. On the 25th of November, Jesse PS tweeted out on the Pod Awful Twitter, basically. Brandon put a convicted unaliver and open PDF file, Michael Allig, in the same booth as the 9-year-old drag queen. Brandon in question is Brandon Hilton, who had in fact done that with House of Man on the same day where there would be some crossover on the time. When you're in the same booth for the same hour questions are raised. Lots of questions are raised. Now, just in case you don't know who Michael Alig is, they are a 54-year-old from New York, club promoter, who was convicted of first-degree manslaughter. They passed away in 2020 of a DRUG overdose. This does, of course, raise some questions and queries about how they could be in attendance, but they're not. That's obvious enough. In the second tweet, literal pediatric unaliver next to child drag queen looking like he's on narcotics under a painting that says Rohypnol with a child on it, and Brandon paired them up. This might as well be Frazzle Drip. Now, I'm going to say optically, Brandon Hilton might have screwed this one up a little bit, because that is, on the face of it, quite bad really, isn't it, actually? Now, there was someone asked Gallows in the tweet, already against this guy, but can you substantiate the allegation PDF stuff? I know about the manslaughter, but can you elaborate on the other one? The reply from PodAwful, it's one of those open secret kind of things. Everyone knows, nobody has proof. Unfortunately, all write-ups on it got memory hold back in 2018. After that video of him with the kid came out, when all the P-Gate stuff got annihilated from Google. The term memory hole was popularized by George Orwell. The book in question is called 1984. The Ministry of Truth uses memory holes to destroy documents and photographs that could be embarrassing or contradict the government's policies. Essentially then, a memory hole is a verb that means to cause memories or facts about the past to be forgotten, erased or suppressed. I've heard of this being done in politics. It's quite a common tactic. Now, the initial tweet from PodAwful was retweeted by themselves later. The mother of child drag queen victim Desmond Is Amazing has filed a false DMCA report against 4 of my tweets. You may have noticed images weren't available. Yeah, that was why. To hide the fact that she allowed Michael Alig to interview her child under a painting that says Rohypnol. Oh, that changes the whole thing, doesn't it then, doesn't it? Yeah, that's not great, is it? I posted these images because Brandon from Fish Tank also put these two together in a booth at DragCon in 2018. Wendy Lou Napoles, the mother, does not own the video she has DMCA claimed. She is instead trying to hide her bad parenting. She has lied under penalty of perjury. The screenshots were literally of a YouTube page and are so obviously transformative in nature that Wendy herself accidentally admits this in her own notification. Quote, "They have created a new work using my copyrighted work. Guess what? That's fair use." Cherry on top, she included this line in her claim. Quote, "Additionally, on a separate note, I did not sign a parental minor release for them to use the likeness of my minor child, nor has my minor child the legal ability to give consent to their using their image online for their intended purpose. So she gave consent to the convicted unaliver and creep Michael Alig, but nobody else has consent to screenshot it. Got it. Legal notice. I own the copyright to the images posted below." There are 4 images down below. Those 4 images are DMCA takedown notices, which is the full legal takedown notice anyway, and it includes the name of Wendy Lou, along with the explanation for the reported content. The 4th image is of a channel called The Pew, which was a stinky comedy talk show satire starring Michael Alig and Ernie Glam. Episode number 442, Desmond Is Amazing. I have over the years had issues with copyright with people who don't understand the system, so I'm going to explain it now. Every platform has its own version of fair use. Fair use is a way of permitting somebody for criticism, for a form of communication, for satire, for parody, to use other people's content. The only, things you can't do is use images that are legally owned by another person. That has happened in the past. I've had a whole live stream on it, in fact, where someone had lol-suited or threatened to lol-suit me. It tickled me to no end. And the music industry. The music industry is a completely different entity, so don't bother wasting your time. Generally, though, in all other areas, you are permitted to use it under fair use. There are many who take full advantage of it or outright abuse it. This is part and parcel of the game on YouTube anyway. Instagram, Facebook, they have their own versions, or Meta as a whole. So does Twitter. So does Twitch. In fact, fair use and copyright is vitally important on all platforms. You cannot claim to own the likeness of your child taken from an image of another person's channel page. At that point, you don't own the copyright or fair use of it. And as the parent, it seems very strange that you would choose to go in on this one when you have then, by extension, justified your child appearing with somebody convicted of, well, crimes and alleged to have crimes committed or have committed crimes that involve children. Your child looks very much like a child in the image. There's a reason throughout this video why I haven't shown a picture of Desmond Is Amazing, beyond the Pew channel, that is. Yeah, it's because of you. I'm not interested in doing that. I could have shown all the social medias I mentioned. I'm just going to link them down below instead and recommend that my audience do not go there to harass, because I'll just ban you when I find out. I think for the sake of it, Desmond is going down their own path. Social media is not where they're going to excel in the future. No offense intended, unless they fully endorse or throw themselves into the trends on TikTok of selling crap, doing live streams of nothing, dancing, singing, or doing lots of lip sync. And you have to do a lot, like 3 to 4 a day, just to get noticed. My ire is mostly to your mother, and that's something that's a prevailing theme with the internet. Your mother made a lot of decisions for you, and the internet generally thinks your mother's a terrible person. As far as the copyrights go, I do hope that they are rescinded, as they should be. Misuse of the copyright system only serves one purpose: to briefly shine a light upon yourself and your child. And because you think you can still control the internet, you can't. And the sooner you shelve your pride long enough to accept that, the better.